Hey guys, welcome. This video is about graphing from standard form. So standard form is this form right here, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And when we graph from standard form, we can do a table where we do the x values, kind of like this, if you guys kind of remember that. This would be how we could potentially graph and say, all right, let's graph all these points and figure it out, do all the math, mumbo jumbo, and come up with our y values. That's kind of an input-output table, but we're going to kind of shy away from that. We want to say, how can we do this in a little bit faster fashion? And what we came up with, and when I say we, I mean mathematicians came up with, is a way to find the vertex quickly. And that's what this helps us do right here. This helps us find the vertex. Negative b over 2a. Now this is going to actually come up quite a bit in quadratics, and we're going to talk a lot about it. But this right here will help us find our vertex, and from our vertex we can go ahead and graph a quadratic. Okay, so we're going to do a quick example here. So our example that we have here is going to be y equals 2x squared plus 3. Okay, notice this does not have a b term. Okay, so let's first find our vertex. It's going to be x equals negative 0, b is 0, there's no b, and then 2 over 2. Now this doesn't matter. This means the vertex is going to be at 0. We already know that. The vertex is at 0 right there. We're plain and simple, no problem. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now we get x equals 0, but we need the y value. To find the y value, we got to plug it back in. So we get y equals, this is going to be 2 times 0 squared plus 3, which is going to give me y equals 3. So my vertex is going to be at 0, comma 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's my vertex. Okay. So there's the vertex at 0, comma 3. So that's my vertex. Okay? Next, the next part about this, we want to go ahead and find two other points potentially. And I like to just pick one point on either side. And at this case, it's negative 1 and 1. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and erase this stuff right here. We already solved it. You wrote it down. Just give yourself a little bit more space. And what we do is we're going to actually plug in negative 1 for x and find out where it is. Okay, so that's going to be negative 1, and we're going to plug in 1. And let's see what happens. So this is going to be 2 times negative 1 squared plus 3. And this is going to be 2 times 1 squared plus 3. Well, that's just going to become 2 plus 3, which is 5. And that's also going to become 2 plus 3, which is 5. So when x is 1, we're going to get, let's go back to the normal color. We're going to get 1, 2, so we're going to get right there, and here is my parabola. Okay. Now this one we actually could have graphed from our vertex form. It's actually in vertex form, which we just had our standard graph. We moved up 3, and it got dilated 2, so it's actually coming in quicker. Alright, let's take a look at another example. This one will be a little bit more traditional of what we'll see. Okay, so the first thing we want to remember is to get that vertice or vertex, we need to use negative b over 2a. So let's go ahead and find that. Okay, so we get the b value is right here, so we get negative 12, and then we're going to go over the a value, which is negative 3, but that's getting multiplied by 2. So this becomes negative 12 over negative 6. That's going to become 2. So x equals 2 for my vertex. Next, we got to plug that 2 in. Plug 2 in back into the equation so we can find our y value. This is going to be 2 squared, which is going to be negative 3 times 4. Plus 12 times 2 is 24 plus 1. This is going to become negative 12 plus 24 plus 1. And we get 12 plus 1, and we eventually get 13 equals y. Alright, that was quite a bit of work just to solve for our first piece. Let's go ahead and move this down. Okay, so now we have our vertex at 2, 13. Okay, and if we draw our graph here, now I know it's going to be, let's see, right there we'll go. And it's going to be 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And there's my vertex. Okay, vertex right there. Next, I want to pick a point on either side. So it looks like I'm going to pick the point of 1, and I'm going to pick the point of 2, and I'm going to plug it in and solve. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We get negative 3, 1 squared, plus 12 times 1 plus 1. And give myself a little bit of room here. I got some dots. I don't want to get rid of those. And we get negative 3, and we're going to get, sorry, this is a 3 right here on the other side. That's 2. So this is going to be 3 squared plus 12, 1 plus 1. Whoops, sorry, that's a 3. Alright, so we get, this is going to become negative 3 plus 12 plus 1, so we're going to get 10. So at this point we're going to get 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10's right there. And since this is the axis of symmetry, whoops, I should get 10 right here as well, which should make my life pretty easy. And I know it's facing down because it looks like it's facing down, and we have that negative 3. But let's just double check to make sure this works out. 3 squared, that's going to be 9. 9 times 3 is negative 27. 12 times 3 is going to be a positive 36 plus 1. So we subtract those and we get 9 plus 1 and we get 10. So this should work each time because we're going on either side. So we really only have to graph one piece and then we can mirror it. And I hope that's what you're seeing at this stage. Okay? Alright, let's do another one. Alright, let's move it back to the top. Boom. There we go. And let's get another problem here. And we're going to go f of x just means the function given x of 6x squared plus 6x minus 5. Again, we need to find our vertex. That's our first goal. We should always find, we get the 6 is our b, so we get negative 6. 2a, that's going to be 2 times 6. If we go ahead and reduce that, that's going to end up being negative 1/2 is my x value. Okay, now this is going to get a little tricky here. We're going to get some fractions, but we'll be okay. We'll make it through. So I'm going to do 6 times negative 1/2 squared plus 6 times 1/2 minus 5. This is going to become 6 times, this would be 1/4 plus 3 minus 5. This is going to become 6 over 4. We'll go into that 1.5, so 1.5 plus 3 minus 5. So y is going to equal 0.5 or 1/2. Okay, so we get our vertex at negative 1/2 and 1/2. And I'm going to erase this work here because we need some space for our graph. So again, first step, we go ahead and find the x value, plug it in to find the y value. That gives us our vertex. So now we have our vertex. And let's go ahead and draw our graph. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to be at 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So our vertex is going to be at negative 1/2. So that's negative 1/2 is about here, and 1/2. So notice I'm kind of going right in the middle. Okay. Then we're going to pick a point on either side. So I'm going to pick 0, and I'm going to pick 1, negative 1. That's going to be right on either side. So I got -1 and 0 here. Now again, I only have to pick 1 point because I know it's going to mirror, so I'm actually just going to do 0 because 0 is going to be really fast. And if I plug in 0 here, this is going to go away, this is going to go away, and you should be left with -5. So let's take a look. 0 squared plus 6 times 0 and -5. So this all goes to 0, I get -5. So when x is 0, I get -5. Okay. -5, where is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. Perfect. And when we put 0 in here, or we put -1, we should get the same things. They're actually going to cancel out. And we get 5. And we're going to go right down there. Perfect. Okay. And it's facing downward. Nice. Okay. Last problem. I know. These are a doozy. Let's do one last one. Let's do a little bit easier one, I suppose. Maybe not. Oops. Okay, x equals -b over 2a. Alright, the b is -6 over 2 times 1. That's going to become -3 for my x value. Plug in -3. Okay, when I do that, I'm going to get 9 minus 6 times 3 is going to give me 18, so I get -9. So my vertex is going to be at -3, -9. Give myself some space to graph. Okay, and let's draw our -3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right there. Let's pick 1 point off to the side. Let's pick -2 because it's just going to mirror. We know that. So this is going to be -2 squared plus 6 times the -2. That's going to be 4 minus 12. So I'm going to get -8. So that's right there. So on the other side, I'm also going to get -8 because it's going down our point of axis of symmetry. Okay, so that's how we do it. First, again, we always use our x equals -b over 2a. We get our vertex, and we're good to go. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow.